Right here at the ranger's house in Big Greenbrier. This flat spot right here next to the gate. It's where Wiley Price lived. Big house sit right here. And one of the old roads up the creek. Not the original road, but this road right here. It's the manway trail up to the campground. And I always wonder how many times my grandparents, great-grandparents, and my second great-grandparents went up and down this road over 100 years time frame. Of course, this is the beginning of James Ridge right here. Some pretty mushrooms there in the woods. Let's walk up the creek a little ways. Up the trail just a little ways, you come to the footbridge that crosses Injune Creek, and there's a kind of pretty rock wall over there. This time of year it's hard to see. And the old road came across the creek right there. And they've redone the handrail, so it's looking a lot better. You walk up in what used to be an old cornfield, apple orchard. Just a nice field here all the way back down toward the road. The little ridge here separates Thurman Branch from Injune Creek, and we'll walk a little further. You walk a little ways, you'll finally come through a place where you leave the old road, and you walk up through between some rock walls here, and you come to a big flat field where one time the Emirates owned this land, and John B. Ownby owned this land, and then Dan Lawson owned a little corner down here, and Samuel Beck and other people, and then Robert Cardwell house stood right in here. You literally walk up through the center of the house, and that's of course here's where Glenn lived as a child. And looks different in the summertime. Wintertime all this is down, you can walk out through it. But and the old road's right on the creek here. And even though it's 88 degrees in Gatlinburg, it's at least 15 degrees cooler here late in the afternoon, because this trail is shady pretty much 4 o'clock on in the summertime. I can see that rock right there has been flipped over by a young bear, so there might be some bears up here. We'll keep an eye out. Right here's where the house sit, and there's some daylilies over there, but I can also see right here through the grass where a couple young bear cubs or possibly hogs have ran right through there. And so it looks like a couple hours ago. This is obviously a big bear. It's not to pour this rock over. A hog couldn't do this. So I got a mama bear probably and a few cubs. And that's part of the old chimney right there, those rocks right there. And we'll continue our walk here. I've ran into bears up here before, and other creatures. Yeah, they flipped over all the rocks right here. Walked right through the grass right there. We're literally walking over the old spring right now. And I keep the gnats out of my eyes. Here's the old spring house. Another big field back here behind. And used to, it was a kind of a secret. Even Glenn didn't know about it. I was shocked, surprised he didn't, but there's a little worn path now over to part of an old car and the old road bit over next to the creek. just a little further up the trail here. Hard to see this time of year, but there's actually a few rocks in here, and they're about 10 feet apart, a couple of corners, and obviously like a 2-pen barn sit right here, or maybe an old garage. There's actually a gap right here in the rock wall where an old car or truck could have pulled up. And yeah, here's part of the rocks right here. So obviously at one time, 2-pen barn was still sitting there. And yeah, right here's the gap right here. That's actually the old roadbed on that side of the rock wall. And it forded the creek right there, went up. This is just a well-worn path and manway over the years. It's not an official park trail, but it might as well be. Gets plenty of traffic. And you can walk up to that field, and there's a gap over the Thurman branch. Some home places over there where Lee Price and others lived. And up on that bank up there, it's a single grave of, I believe it's Sarah Ormby, who was my grandmother's aunt. But most people walk to it from this side. If it was wintertime, that'd be the way to go. Okay, of course, we got James Ridge on this side. It's getting bigger and bigger now. And there's actually a few big trees up on that ridge. It's no telling how many times I've walked up and down this trail over the years, probably more than any other place in the park, because this is where a lot of my ancestors on my mama's side lived. Of course, I'm about cousins to about everybody who lived in Greenbrier at one time or another. Some pretty ferns right here. We're going up a little ways further, and I'll finish up this part 1. Now, Christie like this. That fern's all rolled up. It's got a big old spider nest on the inside of it. Spiders use it to create a nest. Now the old trail is actually in the old roadbed, so we're one and the same. What you don't see is actually over there, there's another road. Gets up to the woods, goes through a little gap, goes back toward the Frederick Husky Cemetery, goes up to an old corn patch, potato patch up on top of the hill in the old days. So we finally come further up the trail here, and now it's kind of a worn path. Used to, it wasn't hard to see, but out to there, we walking today, but about 50 yards up there on the right, up on the knob, is the single grave of I think John Nelson Ormby's baby, but anyway, Mom always said it was Grandma's aunt's, called her Sarah Ormby, who died young. And there's also the old home place right here, and there's a big old tree back up the creek there on the side creek, and I call it the barn tree because it's right next to the barn. The reason I didn't cut it down, it's one of the biggest oak trees in this side of the park in Greenbrier, and got a little wet area here where the trail water used to go straight down to the creek, but it kind of rutted out over time. Now the water floods down to here, so you gotta watch out for snakes. Big copperhead territory. And right here, if you look closely, there's a couple outhouse holes right there, and home place up on the hill. And we'll try to cross the water here and not get bit by anything. A little bit muddy. And right here is where the intake pipe is. And the old dam right there. You see, they still got the piece of wood in where they open up the shift. There's a big pipe right there. And used to be a little 2-lane bridge across here. So, used to be a little 2-lane bridge across here. Filled up there. And used to be a tub mill up the creek here, just a little ways. And then there was another one on up next to the campground at Ashley Rayfield had, but there was also another one down here too. And a bit muddy here. But John Nelson, one of his places, sit right up in there, and there's a little wet branch, and there's a old spring house up there next to the big tree, and there's a path behind his home place over to that grave and back, and that's a holler you don't want to go too far up. It gets pretty ugly back up in there. And of course, this is all Grapeyard Ridge on this side of the trail. And here's this little side branch, and what's happening is it's kind of filled in dirt here, and the water is now flowing down to there, and it really should keep on flowing that way, so it should be dug out. And that area down there wouldn't be so wet. That's how things change over time. This little creek has tons of salamanders in it. I bring Cub Scouts up here every once in a while, Boy Scouts in the past, and I'd let them all catch a spring lizard. So here's our next footbridge. And from this point on up the creek, there's only one more footbridge, and you got to cross the creek a couple of times with no footbridge and high water. It's a little bit hard to do sometimes, but they put a new handrail on this one too. I think that's enough for part one. Just a little introduction to my neck of the woods.